And we hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day, a safe Memorial Day as well, and this kind of leads right into what I wanted to talk to you about this morning. I know we've had some fires that sparked up throughout the area yesterday. Firefighters were quick to jump on them. They were able to get out. As of the latest report that I've seen, that there might be a fire going on in Washtuckner this morning. As we make our way through the day today, are we expecting any wind or anything like that that could cause havoc for anybody fighting any fires today?
Well, luckily the wind is going to be reduced from yesterday, but it is still going to be sunny, and we are starting to turn the corner into those warm temperatures. And of course, when we're talking about dry and warm conditions, that always means the threat for wildfires is there. But in terms of wind or anything too abnormal, creating very heightened fire danger, those are not in the cards today. We're not seeing any red flag warnings or fire weather watches or anything like that. In the Tri-Cities this morning, we are waking up to clear skies. It is going to be a sunny day overall. Right now in the Tri-Cities, we are sitting at 50 degrees underneath those sunny skies. Here's a look at your weather headlines today and going forward. It is going to be a sunny and pleasant Tuesday around the entirety of the inland Northwest. Tomorrow is going to be the hottest day of 2025 so far, as we see sunshine and temperatures well into the 90s for some of us. But then temperatures are going to cool down in a marginal sense as we go into Thursday. We'll talk more about all three of these weather headlines coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Yakima County. A Sunnyside man has been charged in connection with a car crash that killed the teen earlier this month. On May 16th, Sunnyside Police and the Washington State Patrol were called to a vehicle rollover on State Route 241 on the outskirts of Sunnyside, where authorities say Anthony Gutierrez was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the car, a 20-year-old man, was interviewed by WSP troopers who say he had strong odors of intoxicants on his breath and slurred speech. He was arrested after failing voluntary field sobriety tests and is now charged with vehicular homicide. At least one person is injured following a car crash in Benton County yesterday. Deputies with the Benton County Sheriff's Office say the incident took place on Riata Road and at Bermuda when a driver blew through a stop sign and was struck by another car before spinning out into a neighboring yard. Medics were called to assess injuries, the extent of which are unknown. Charges are pending. And drivers in the Tri-Cities may need to plan for some commuting delays later this week. Leaders with the Port of Benton say construction will start Thursday on the railroad crossing along State Route 240 between Stevens Drive and Kingsgate Way. Commuters will be detoured north on Stevens Drive, west on Battelle Boulevard, and then south on Kingsgate Way to reconnect to State Route 240. The project will see the addition of new crossing lights, gate mechanisms, and a new rail track. Work is expected to be completed by Monday. Switching gears this morning, Tahoma Cemetery in Yakima was filled with people honoring fallen heroes for Memorial Day. KIMA's Anissa Williams tells us more.
VFW Post 379 hosted a traditional ceremony laying wreaths at the cemetery monument and recognizing the service and sacrifice of veterans. Cadets from the West Valley Junior ROTC helped place flags on veterans' graves. Congressman Dan Newhouse, the guest speaker, said he was honored to take part in the ceremony, noting the importance of recognizing and supporting those who have served. He emphasized that honoring veterans is a duty all Americans share.
We can never repay the debt that we owe. The best we can do is provide for those families and those individuals who served. And we strive to do a better job at that every day. And as Congress, that's one of our most important responsibilities. And we always strive to do as good a job as possible.
VFW Commander Tim Gatton emphasized the importance of everyone, not just veterans or their families, remembering the meaning of this day, saying, "Veterans tend to remember the meaning because it could have been any of us. That could have been me."
There are still people out there that are willing to raise their right hand, swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and go where they're told and do what they're told, regardless of the situation and regardless of the sacrifice. So it's people that are willing to do that that allows for this country to exist.
Navy veteran Donald Orminsky has visited Tahoma Cemetery for over 30 years, bringing roses, reading headstones, and paying respect to those who served, especially fellow Navy veterans.
Memorial Day to me, in particular, is honoring those that are fallen that have gone before us. And of course, honoring those that are still alive. But I think, unfortunately, Memorial Day to a lot of people, it's been lost to hamburgers and hot dogs and barbecues and the pool opening, and we always have to take time to just step back and think about what is this holiday really about. I would like everyone just to pay respects and be respectful in society. That's all I would ask. That's a big asking.
Reporting for Action News, I'm Anissa Williams.
And community members in Pasco also gathered for a Memorial Day ceremony yesterday, honoring those who didn't get to return home to their loved ones while serving in the armed forces. With more than 100 people in attendance at City View Cemetery, the service featured a ceremonial wreath placing, raising of the flags, and remarks from city leaders and local veterans.
We need to understand why we even have the freedom to do those things. It came at a cost, and that someone somewhere paid that on our behalf. My friends, we must pass this on to our children, grandchildren, and future generations. But they must know the freedoms that they have today have come at a very high price.
Following the service, folks could be seen placing flowers and flags on tombstones of veterans buried in the cemetery. Switching gears this morning, a potential lease agreement for the Toppenish City Pool is in the works. City leaders say they're in talks with both the Yakima Valley Farm Workers Clinic and Friends of the Toppenish Pool regarding the matter. After a failure of a recent funding initiative, the proposed no-cost lease would make the tenant responsible for all operations and expenses. While a June 1st opening was requested, ongoing resurfacing work has pushed the opening to early July. The city, though, is reviewing insurance documents and finalizing details to ensure the agreement meets safety and legal standards. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan. Jefferson, temperature is going to be a lot warmer today than we saw yesterday. Yesterday was still around average, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this is kind of that warming trend that everyone's so excited about.
That's right. Well, Sunday was very hot. Sunday was the hottest day of 2025 so far, and then we cooled down quite a bit yesterday. Today we are bumping back up into the upper 70s to mid 80s, certainly not outside of the realm of normal for this time of year, but still slightly above average, with everybody seeing sunshine. And then it is, as we go into tomorrow, we are going to have a new hottest day of 2025 so far as we go into Wednesday.